How many inches women actually want based on science? Okay, let's be real here. When we talk about men's health, there's this one question that just keeps popping up like a bad penny. Does size really matter? You hear it everywhere, right? Late night jokes, locker room talk, even at those awkward family dinners when someone says something totally inappropriate. And social media? Forget about it. It's a minefield of memes, exaggerations, bragging, and complaints. But hiding behind all that noise is a guy just like you quietly wondering, am I normal? Do I measure up? And what do women actually want? Well, here's the honest truth. The answer is way more reassuring and surprising than you probably think. So hang with me for a bit because today we're going to sort out the facts from the fiction. We're going to dig into what science actually says about what women prefer, why those old myths are so hard to shake, and the everyday habits that are quietly chipping away at men's confidence way more than any measuring tape ever could. Quick pause. Pop a comment down below and tell me where you're watching from today. I always love seeing how far our men's health community stretches. And while you're at it, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep bringing you honest, practical health insights without any shame, stigma, or those ridiculous gimmicks. The myth we're up against is pretty straightforward. Bigger is always better. Movies, jokes, even some of your own buddies might be reinforcing that idea. But science tells a completely different story. In study after study, when women are given the freedom to choose privately, without any pressure or outside influence, they overwhelmingly prefer an average size. That's right. Not the extremes, not the crazy 12-inch stories, not those cartoonish things you see online. Average. And why is that? Because sex is about feeling comfortable, making a connection, and experiencing pleasure, not about racking up inches. And here's the most comforting part of all of this. The vast majority of men already fit right into that preferred range. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Laura, a board-certified urologist and sexologist. I've spent over 7 years helping men, especially those over 50, protect their confidence, improve their intimacy, and regain a sense of dignity when it comes to their health. I've had countless men come into my office with that same unspoken concern. Doctor, I'm worried I'm just not enough. And I've seen firsthand just how damaging that fear can be. It's not just about what happens in the bedroom. It affects marriages, self-esteem, and even confidence in their careers. That's exactly why I want to walk you through the real science behind all of this. And after that, I'm going to share the 5 biggest mistakes that men make when they're dealing with this issue, and then give you some actionable steps you can take to replace that insecurity with real confidence. Mistake number 1. Believing those media myths. Biologically speaking, the average erect penis is somewhere between 5 and 6 inches long, with a girth of about 5 to 5 inches. And get this. Studies of best-selling adult toys show that women overwhelmingly choose sizes within that same range. So what happens emotionally? When men start comparing themselves to those unrealistic media portrayals, they end up creating anxiety and shame, even when they're already right on target. The practical takeaway here is simple. Stop comparing yourself to what you see in movies or those over-the-top stories. Remember, when women are making private choices, their preferences reflect reality, not some fantasy. Mistake number 2. Ignoring comfort and fit. Biologically, the female body is designed for comfort. Too much girth or excessive length can actually cause pain, not pleasure. Emotionally, many women value trust, safety, and a feeling of closeness way more than size. They don't want sex to feel like a performance. They want it to feel like a real connection. So what can you do? Focus on pacing, communication, and positioning. These things matter way more for satisfaction than an extra half inch. Mistake number 3. Assuming that all women want the same thing. Biologically, studies do show some subtle variations. Women who report having vaginal orgasms sometimes show a slight preference for a length that's a little above average. But again, we're talking about maybe 5 inches, not some crazy extreme. Emotionally, it's all about individual preferences. Some women care about size, others don't care at all. But what most women value universally is confidence, intimacy, and open communication. So instead of asking yourself, "Am I enough?" try asking your partner, "What makes you feel most comfortable and connected?" Just that one little shift can totally transform your intimacy. Mistake number 4. Neglecting your overall health. Biologically, erections depend much more on blood flow, hormones, and your overall lifestyle than they do on size. Dehydration, smoking, poor sleep, and a lack of exercise can all hurt your confidence and your performance. Emotionally, a man who invests in his own energy, his health, and his presence just feels attractive regardless of the measurements. So the practical advice here is to take charge of the basics. Stay hydrated, exercise, manage your stress levels, and get enough sleep. Women consistently rank vitality and energy higher than physical extremes. Mistake number 5. Letting insecurity run the show in the bedroom. Biologically, anxiety triggers your stress hormones, which raises cortisol levels, lowers testosterone, and reduces blood flow. This can lead to softer erections, less pleasure, and a whole lot of frustration. Emotionally, a lot of men go into intimate situations worrying about how big they are, instead of focusing on the connection with their partner. Women can sense that anxiety and it totally kills the mood. The practical solution is to replace that comparison game with confidence. Remember, you are more than enough when you show up with presence, patience, and attentiveness. So what can you start doing today? First, stop falling into that comparison trap. Unfollow any social media accounts that are fueling your insecurity. Protect your mind. Learn the actual averages. 5 to 6 inches in length for 5 to 5 inches in girth. Science says you're almost certainly within that range. Then shift your focus to your skills. Communication, foreplay, and trust consistently rank higher for women than size ever will. Invest in your health. Strong circulation, good sleep, hydration, and a balanced hormone level matter way more than an extra inch. And finally, practice some confidence rituals. Before you get intimate, take a deep breath, focus on your partner, and remind yourself, "I am enough." Look, I know this topic is loaded with emotion. Some of you might have been carrying these insecurities since you were teenagers. Maybe someone said something cruel. Maybe you've been silently worrying every single time you've started a relationship. But here's the truth. Science is on your side. You are normal. You are enough. And you are absolutely capable of deeply satisfying your partner. Not because of some number, but because of who you are and how you connect with them. Gentlemen, let me leave you with this. Confidence doesn't come from chasing extremes. It comes from understanding the reality of the situation, taking care of your body, and showing up with presence and respect. Getting older isn't the end of your vitality. In fact, for many men, their 50s and 60s become their most confident years because they finally let go of those comparisons and step into real connection. So hold your head high. You don't need to measure up to some myth. You need to measure up to yourself. And that's more than enough. If you found this reassuring, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this truth. I'm Dr. Laura, reminding you that your worth is not defined by inches. It's defined by your confidence, your health, and the love you bring into every relationship. Stay strong, stay confident, and remember that you are enough.